Hello and welcome to Dharma with Kai. I'm your host, Kylie, and this podcast over criminology and narcissistic relationships is verified. And the stories that I share with you during this podcast are not sharing any identifiable information or any confidential information. I'm going to share with you some of my experience throughout the podcast series. It is important that I did have an opportunity to do some work outside of work on my own, leading me to create Dharma with Kai. I am going to go over some relational patterns that I have inhibited over my life. This episode is called No Offense. So, a lot of times growing up and even in the adult age, you'll hear people say no offense after they make a statement. And I'm going to give you a few examples. I know that I'm not Black, no offense. Or I don't want you to get offended if I tell you to do something a certain way. Or no offense, I'm sorry, no offense. However, you don't have the amount of problems that I do because you haven't lived as long as I have. No offense. However, you don't know what you're talking about because you haven't ever been in this situation before. No offense. However, you have terrible family, and I don't think that you should make any comment regarding this. No offense. However, you should probably dye your hair or look a different way. No offense. You should stop eating as much food as you do. No offense. Maybe if you would put up some blackout curtains, you'll feel better when you wake up in the morning. No offense. Maybe if you stop watching certain television shows, you wouldn't get offended. No offense. However, you don't have as many children as I do. So, how could you dare make any evaluation of my life? No offense. However, you aren't at a senior level position. No offense. However, people don't listen to people that look like you. And if you're going to make it in this world, you should probably do XYZ. Okay. Well, guess what? No offense is taken. When you grow through narcissistic relationships and trauma, and I have narcissists in my family, you have a no response tolerance to a lot of digs that people try to throw your way. And it's important not to get caught up on others' emotions during this time or their behaviors towards you. Even the people that are not necessarily narcissistic end up taking on traits from hearing the comments and the behaviors of the narcissistic person that is trying to turn people against you. You were supposed to grow, you were supposed to evolve, and you're supposed to learn and move on. And that's all that you can do. Keep in mind that it's sad that some people only want you to break through their level of growth or speed. You have to reach the charts that make you feel successful at the end of your journey. And that is important when deciding on these narcissistic relationships. And hopefully by now you have had some time to evaluate that none of these relationships are worth your life not being lived. Yes, you're going to ache at times because you miss someone or the idea of them. You're going to want to make sure that you spend time truly reflecting inwards and changing yourself because none of this is meant to ever to try to get a toxic relationship reintroduced back into your life. And it is sad because many of the victims in these relationships still linger or long for that. And that is not what you're going to want to provide after going through this. And there is a whole host of information regarding narcissistic relationships and several great podcasts and professionals that work in the realm of dealing with narcissistic relationships and trauma are good for you. However, you're not going to want to dwell on the past. You're not going to want to sit there and numb in the present either. You're going to want to strategically plan on how to move forward with these relationships. I do want to welcome you back, and you should never take offense. Your only option in life, and I go through this in my It's Not You series, is that you can live a lie, you can listen to others who do not want the best for you, or lead a new way of living that you get to define, not others, because the designs that the world lays out for you continues to place you in a never ending disruptive relationship of patterns that you are always going to want to work towards leaving. Strategic planning is necessary in these narcissistic relationships with an insight to criminology and healing through the process. You do not want to following throughout this because in today's society, it feels like every day there is shift blame and you never know the exact time. However, you need to prepare for this in your transition to a more fulfilling, safe, equitable, and healthy life. The inconsistencies and delusional conversations offered in talking through these decisions is completely unnecessary. The narcissistic individuals leave you in a paralysis. If you're unable to make the necessary calls, you're never going to get off the roller coaster of toxicity and unhappiness that was offered. Only the basics. And there are so many that don't even get the basics. After all the hell the narcissistic individuals did to you, they are going to have the nerve to take offense to your healing process of not allowing them regards. It is the most challenging thing to navigate. However, there is no offense in healing and doing what you have to live a life that is yours and not participate in it. Throughout my podcast, you're going to listen to episodes that make you reflect, and at times your emotional perspective is going to shift, and that's the process of healing. So keep the faith, trust in the process, and do not defend yourself against your decisions. Don't go backwards. And I want to thank you for listening to Dharma, Protect Your Peace, and adios.